All right, what fun. We get a very divisive chapter in next chapter. We actually were pretty much just given the set time that there isn't going to be a chapter in this next coming week. We have to wait until I believe the 19th or so to get a chapter again. So we might actually get it a little early. We might get on the 18th just because usually it comes out because of like the time zones like in the previous day for over in the West than in Japan. So we'll see. It might be the 18th. Either way, we got to wait a bit for the chapter. I will say this is gonna really, I think, set tone for this arc for the fandom very heavily, because if it has a break in the point of like a hype end point of a chapter, we don't know if it's the end of the fight or if it was just a normal cliffhanger. If it is like the end of the full fight and Dogromag's done, waiting a month for that I feel like is really gonna sour a lot of people. It definitely will be a rough turn to deal with. I'm still really hoping that we continue the fight. I think a month wait and then continue. We get some more Dogromag stuff before a few chapters later. I would assume then ending the fight. But as of right now, it's just gonna sit obviously in like a weird spot, and we don't know whether or not the fight is going to continue and Dogromag is still able to keep going, whether or not he's got some trump cards up his sleeve, or if he's done and that unison raid attack from Natsu Suzaku put him down. So we'll see, because I obviously, like I said, I want to see him keep going. I want to see more of Dogromag. I like his character. I want to see more of that dragon form and just see some more cool stuff from him before he ends up going. But you always got to keep in mind that the way that the chapter ended, there's always that possibility that he's defeated. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what Mishima has planned for that. But for now, I'll go off the assumption that the chapter is going to go it's going to continue with the fight, because if the fight ends, I assume it's just going to be like what could happen next chapter. Okay, yeah, cooldown. There's going to be some, like, it might not even be like a direct cooldown chapter. Like, if it's not, say, oh yeah, the next chapter they got to get out of the labyrinth, there's some exposition stuff. Like, if it is the end of the fight, we could easily get something kind of like the end of Alderaan, where it's like a short jump to a little bit after the characters have all reconvened and met back up. I don't want that, just because I would really like to see some of the aftermath of this arc. I really want to see some of the general interactions between some of the Diablos members and Fairy Tail members, like initially, like just back and forth between them, since they're not going to be enemies. They're going to have to, we don't know fully if they're going to be allies, but enough that they shouldn't have nearly as much of a beef with each other, I would assume, since they're going to probably get that misunderstanding hammered out. Regardless, my hopes for Dogromag are Dogromag in the next chapter, we get some form of a little bit of flashback, a little bit of information on him. I would love to see a couple centuries prior, him and Ignia having just like a back and forth for even a couple pages. I don't even need the full one. If we can get say 3 or 4 pages of just like seeing again a flashback of a younger Dogromag and a younger Ignia, and they're just chatting and then going over their plan, or they're talking about something with Acnologia and having to run from, or something valuable that you can not evolve, but I guess really progress the two characters, because a flashback from him does justice, obviously, for adding to his character, but also will add to Ignia if Ignia is involved, which obviously he very easily can be since they're friends. But once he does that, I would hope he pulls out again some form of trump card, starts to turn it around for his favor, and then it would be like the chapter after that, Natsu snaps or really starts to go deep in his bag with that. I would assume either Dragon Force or his Etheria stuff, and start really manhandling Dogromag, really be what turns the fight around. I think Mishima having it so we didn't see Natsu can't punch and break the stone or melt the stone from Dogromag, but Suzaku can cut them. I think that was very much done on purpose to lay out just a little note. Oh, we can't do this yet. So when we see, if we do, not when we do, if we see Natsu go into either Dragon Force or his Etheria's form again, some form of just sudden burst in power, and you see him suddenly like melting and destroying the rocks with no problem, that will be like a good indicator, obviously, of a large jump in power and the gap between those two statuses, without having to just outright explain it to you. You being able to tell you through showing and not as much just full focus telling. But Dogromag Dogromag, again, has a lot of my hopes in the next chapter, because I like his character. I don't want him to die, but I feel like logically he'll die. But I also would really like it if his character just went out with it. A lot more grand, a lot more of a grand performance, I think. Because, like, I want Natsu and Suzaku to have a cool fight, but, like, at the end of it, I want to look back and think of it as, like, the battle with Dogromag, not just, like, a fight with Natsu and Suzaku. Even though Natsu and Suzaku teaming up, the big thing for me in this one is seeing Dogromag, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the only time we're going to get to really see him, except for maybe flashbacks. And assuming we're not going to get him after this arc, I would like to get enough of content from his character that, he can be rounded out, all boxed up, ribbon on it, and be like, yeah, this is a pretty cool character. He was only in one arc, but, he did a good job. He performed. He was fun. And he had a pretty good fight. And, if something important to the story, like, again, if not just some sort of ethereous moment with him, that could, really lay out a important key tying event with Dogromag to make him more memorable on top of that. So we'll see. As it stands now, like I said, there's, like, when the next chapter begins, there's always going to be that belief, okay, is Dogromag done? Did he lose? Is the fight over? It's not as crazy, because, like, Dogromag was a surprise enemy, but I still want him to do well. I'm really hoping that Mishima just doesn't have him lose very fast and then end it. Like, I'm hoping for about 2 more chapters of combat. We'll see. At least one chapter I'm hoping where Dogromag starts to kind of pull around similar to Alderaan, but where it results in a completely different Natsu that he'll be fighting during the ending areas of the battle. So, as it were, like I said, I'm going to keep it, at least from a theory standpoint, my eggs more on the idea of him continuing the fight. There's always the possibility that he's not, but it's like, what am I really going to kind of go off of in a theory video off of what's going to happen next chapter? If I go off of, oh yeah, the fight ends, it's like, okay, a cooldown chapter with the characters chat, and then we find out a little bit of lore exposition stuff, which could be cool. But it's like, when unknown lore and unknown exposition, and you're trying to go off that, you can go off anything. I can be like, well, what if the Magna Carta is brought up again? Who knows? Probably not. Either way, at least like I said, from a theory standpoint, go off of, well, Dogromag will continue, where that could lead to, what kind of benefits we can get out of that, and how that could affect, like, Natsu and other people in the story. So we'll see. It's a moment that, again, it's going to hurt, because we got to wait an extra 2 weeks. It's, the 27th right now, recording this, and we got to wait till, like I said, the 19th, possibly the 18th. So it's, like, literally 3 weeks. It's rough, because, like, we're what we would be through the halfway point, get a chapter next week, but because I think it was one of the people on Ueda's team got COVID, and they had to pretty much push some time back. I was really hoping we were going to get a ending of the arc and then a break. All I'm really hoping, I think ultimately I will say with this, is it's not going to be one of those things where it's ended abruptly because they're like, well, we're going to have a break next week, let's just end it because of COVID. I'm really hoping that they don't do that, and it's not like next week after the COVID break, the arc's over. Like I said, even if it's like one more chapter, even if the worst case scenario, I'll say just in the end, even if the fight doesn't continue, I'm hoping we get like a Dogromag on the ground. He can't move, but it's like one of those parts where we get some dialogue, we get some back and forth, and we find out information that way. I'm still really hoping, my one overall I would prefer more than any, is if Dogromag pulls out some trump card and he starts fighting further, and we see, and obviously his character have like something really cool to pull out before, I would assume, a chapter 2 later he loses. Something just to really kind of put him in a good spot before he ends up going out. I always personally think it's the best decision, like when you're getting ready to finish off a character, either you kill them or you're just going to be done with them, is to show their ultimate move, just to give that like little bit of fanfare and show what their capability, show what their peak is before you end up sidelining them, kind of like what happened with Zero. So we'll see. Maybe Dogromag will do that, maybe he won't, maybe he'll just be defeated, who knows. It's a weird spot, because I'm not currently like super invested in Dogromag, but I want to have like an investment in his character. Like, I really want his character to turn out really well by the end of it. I really liked in the previous chapter that big chuckle he did while he's still in his human form. I thought that was just very fun for his character. And if we can get more stuff like that just gives us more emphasis on him as an individual, and again, also just showing some more of his power, shows some more of what he's capable of. That would be stellar. But we'll see. It could be the worst case scenario, and he's defeated and the arc ends, or we could get something again where the fight continues. We'll have to wait and see. Regardless, my big thing going out of it, I will say, this is the last bit, is if it is over, I really would hope that we address some of the plot points of people like Sai, and like if they don't kill Dogromag, what is Selene gonna do with him? Because with Sai, it's easy for them to keep him under control and pretty much keep him as a captive. The only person that logically can just keep Dogromag down is Selene. Because even Natsu and Suzaku fresh and like the whole set of group teams, I imagine Dogromag, if he's not trying to fight, he can flee. I imagine he's strong enough and durable enough that he really needed to, excluding Selene, he could go on a run and get out of there without receiving too much damage from the respective Fairy Tail and Diablo's teams. Granted, all of them together is obviously a lot of power, but like if he's just trying to escape, I imagine he could escape. Whereas like if Selene is there, there's no chance he escapes. She keeps teleporting him, or she just blitzes and crushes him. But anyway, other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. I know it's going to be a really weird one, just because it's one of those cliffhanger chapters where it doesn't leave you with a little bit of a nod as to what's going to happen next. Like, obviously, like, oh, God Serena's showing back up. Oh, we're going to have some fights with God Serena. Oh, Gojo gets beat up with God Serena. Oh, there's going to be some form of him trying to redeem himself, or there was going to be a follow fight. You know, there's, regardless of what ended up happening, Gojo complete the mission, didn't be God Serena. But it's like there was still enough going out of that chapter where you can look at the, okay, yeah, we have some ideas where this is going to go. Whereas, like, with Dogromag, it's like, well, primarily he either lost or he'll be really mad and pull some moves out. I'm in the side hoping that he'll continue, but we'll see. Other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, before like, button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. But on that, I appreciate you already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.